everyone. Welcome again to another Saturday, 8 p.m. West African time, to Talking Money with Kalu on Spaces. How you all doing? I hope you are enjoying the weekend and you are keeping safe and making money. We're here today with Obianuju, co-host, and also with ComX by AFEX. We want to talk commodities. So I've sent ComX an invite to accept to speak. So once they do that, I'm going to call them on stage. Obi, how's your weekend going? Hey, Benji, can you hear me? Obi, can you hear me? I don't want to have a snow for this week again, right? All right, guys. So thanks to you all for joining. I see a lot of you here. Olumide, hi, welcome. Toby, hi, welcome. Okpeyemi, Malachi, Ayodeji, Ambassador, all of you guys, all welcome. If you want to speak as usual, either you send me or be a DM or request to come on stage. Once we have our guest here on stage, we will kick it off and we're just going to talk about commodities, right? I want to just find out two things from them, right? One, with all this talk about inflation is 8% in the US, inflation is 15% in Nigeria. All over the world, inflation is hitting new highs in Europe, in Asia. The only country not having inflation is Japan, and they have something worse. They have a deflation, right? So I want to find out from AFEX, right? Yeah, what can we do? It's commodities. Are they really a good hedge against inflation? That's the first thing I want to find out from them. The second thing I want to find out from them is, can commodities actually give us passive income? Those are the three things I want to find out. One, can I hedge with them? And two, can I get passive income from commodities? I know Nigeria has got tons of agricultural commodities, from cocoa to paddy rice and all that. And no one really seems to invest in commodities, right? Every time I speak to people, they always tell me, I'm investing in stocks, I'm investing in crypto. I haven't really had anyone come up and tell me that they are investing in commodities. And that's a big, big, big market, right? So essentially, we want to find out, why aren't folks investing? Is it because they don't know? Or is it because the returns there are not as, should we say, appetizing as in other asset classes? I suspect is that they don't know. That's what I'm suspecting, that maybe they don't know. And if they get to hear from the subject experts, i.e. The ComX folks, perhaps their minds will be changed and will come around to investing in commodities. If you guys don't know, there's, should we say, war happening in Eastern Europe with Russia and Ukraine. And Russia and Ukraine combined supply, I believe, nearly 50% of wheat that is consumed all across the world. And bread is almost a staple in Nigeria. So that war is causing ripples across the world. Indonesia, that exports a lot of palm oil and is used to make biscuits, breads, cakes, food all across the world, has now banned the export of palm oil, right, from Indonesia. So you have the Indonesia not being able to export palm oil. You have Russia and Ukraine not being able to export grains. What that just tells you is that inflation, which is going to be driven by the importation of these higher food prices, is a real thing and it's going to occur. In Nigeria, for instance, to give you the figures, Nigeria's inflation rate is 15%. If you take just the food inflation alone, food inflation is almost 18%. Inflation in Nigeria is driven nearly 50% by food. So food makes up 50% of what we call the CPI basket, right? That's essentially what's going on. So once food prices go up in Nigeria, then essentially you have inflation going up in Nigeria. So anything that we can do to reduce the price of food is to also reduce the price of inflation. And a commodities exchange is very important in this role of reducing the price of food, because what they are able to do is to go in and aggregate commodity output. They aggregate output, they bring it to the formal market. So you guys sitting in, say, Lagos or Port Harcourt or Kwara State, right? You can invest your cash in buying, say, paddy rice or ginger, and when you buy via the exchange, what you are actually doing is you are funding those farmers, and those farmers are able to get cash in advance in bulk for their products. So you see, it's a cycle. The farmers can plant because they can sell to a registered and known and ready market. You invest because you are able to buy those commodities as a way to hedge your naira from the effects of inflation. So a win-win for everyone. So Isaac, how are you doing? You've been here. Do you have a comment on my take on the food on ComX? Do you invest in commodities? Isaac, you can go off mute and tell me what you think. Are you a commodities investor as well?
Hello, everyone. Hello, Mr. Kalu. I'm happy to be on your space. The thing is that although I don't invest in commodities, but I have people that invest in commodities. I know people who invest in commodities, and the market in Nigeria has been a market that has been in existence for a long time. I remember I've seen my mom, seen my grandmom storing palm oil, storing maize, storing beans, and so on. But people do not practice it a lot, or it doesn't have the publicity it requires. Not because it is not existing, not because people are not doing it, but because it is not a trendy business. But because maybe these days it's all about the internet, and the internet. Everybody wants to go into what looks digitalized, or what is seen as being trendy,
Gotcha.
But it still exists. People are doing it, and they are making profits. And although I know it is a kind of business that needs some technicalities, that needs one to understand the know-how, understand when to buy and when to sell.
Okay.
So have to take care of the products, the agricultural products, because if you don't take care of them properly, if you don't know how to store them, if you don't know the right chemicals to use in storing them, then they can go bad and you lose your money. So that is what I know about.
Are your friends investing like through a formal exchange, or are your friends maybe just buying palm oil on their own and just doing that retail on their own? Are they investing through like a market?
No, they are not investing like in a market way, or through a market, or through an organized market. They are investing in it informally. Yes, that is how they invest.
Gotcha. Because I have a friend, right, and he does exports, and I was not aware of how quote unquote local and how this export businesses of commodities. He does a lot of charcoal, even yams, pineapples, oranges, and when you hear him talking about how he goes to this village in Ebonyi, there's this woman that he buys cashew nuts from, and this lady, all she does throughout the entire year is just accumulate cashew nuts. She could spend, and we're talking about millions of naira here. She could spend maybe 5 million naira, and she's just buying cashew nuts from people all through the year, and she's just accumulating cashew nuts in a warehouse in her compound. She's like a widow. That's all she does. And he comes there once a year, and he says he feels like those 911 trucks, almost 11 or so, like he fills them up with cashew, and he's paying her 25 or so million. So she buys for about 5 million, and he's paying her like 25 million. This is just in Nigeria, just cashew nut. This is just one guy doing this. I was really impressed that this sort of commerce is taking place, and I didn't know about it. Same thing with charcoal. When I hear charcoal, I think of this dirty bags. He's doing biscuits, this thing that they do for barbecues in the US. He does that. He makes it, and he actually stamps his brand on those briskets, and he exports them. Tons of money. I know from Nigeria now they've stopped the exports of charcoal, but he does do that, and he does make crazy margins on that stuff. So it did open my eye to that part of commodities, cashew nuts, ginger, and all that. And it's a big thing. Like palm oil is so scarce. So, I mean, do you do it yourself personally?
No, I don't do it personally, but I've observed people very close to me involved being involved in the market. So the point is this: what I understand is that in every business there is an advantage people who have privileged information have, and that advantage is what makes them to stand out and make a lot of money when the business is early. Before people get into it. So the cashew business, I have a friend that his father is into it. He has once told me about it, that his father buys cashew, cashew seeds, yes, the nuts, and take it to a company or transport it to the company where it is being processed and it's being paid, and that's the only thing the man does, and the man is doing fine. So I believe access to privileged information would also help a lot of people, and many people do not know about all this kind of business. They don't know. They may just know about the normal one, the palm oil, the maize, the beans, the rice, and so on. But they are also very important, pertinent commodities, very, very important commodities that one can also buy and store and trade later on. Things like cola nuts and other things that a lot of people do not know about. I think of recent a commodity like bitter cola. Bitter cola is now it can be a little bit scarce.
Really, bitter cola?
Yes, bitter cola.
What?
You can get it easily.
What they use it for? What do they use it for? Apart from like praying, like in my village, everyone has bitter cola. What do they use it for apart from praying? Is it like, what's it used for? Do you know?
It is medicinal. They use it to produce a lot of medicine. Yes. They use it to produce a lot of medicine. It can also be puppets too. So, but people do not have this privileged information, and it seems like people who have the information are hurting it from the rest of the people, so that it won't get congested or the business will not be saturated.
I mean, it's crazy. I mean, what else does this guy export? Pineapples. He exports pineapples and oranges. And he told me just by wrapping the oranges, wrapping them up in 3s or 6s, and put them in a wooden crate, he can double his margin by 25%. Just that presentation. He makes his wooden cases here. He gets oranges and apples, oranges and pineapples, puts them in wooden crates. He rents the refrigerated containers, and he sends to Europe. Super. I mean, it sounds easy, but he knows all those CIF, all those their codes, how they code for freight or how they code for at the port, and he gets these orders. Everyone wants to buy this, or everyone wants to buy that. I recall a time ago, I think it was maybe 5 or 10 years ago, the Chinese government gave Nigerian government an order for about $800 million worth of cassava chips. They were going to use the cassava chip to make ethanol. So it had to be cassava, processed cassava, the chips, dried chips. And I know back then Nigeria struggled to make that order happen. Cassava is everywhere, but to process that cassava to export quality, this is not flour, just make it in chips, cut it up, dry it out, and send to China. We struggle to do that. So I think a big problem for Nigeria is infrastructure. Cassava will rot after 2 days out of the ground. So to take it from the farm to the processing facility is the problem really in Nigeria. That's what I think. If you drive on the roads, on the expressways in Nigeria, you see farm produce being dried on the roads, right? It's not being processed, dried, or humidity taken out of it so it can be packaged and so. So we always have orange season, we always have mango season, and after the season is gone, you don't see it again. But if you go to the US, there's mango 24/7 in the US. They don't grow mangoes in the US. There are bananas 24/7 in the US. They don't grow bananas in the US. So it's just processing and storage. That's what I think. Do you have any view on that? Hey, Isaac, I think you dropped off, right? So I mean, yeah, Isaac, I was just talking about the post-harvest production link, and that's the weak link I see in commodities trading in Nigeria. That weak value chain, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
That's true. In Nigeria, we don't even have electricity.
Whoa.
Like I'm talking to you, and I have to use my solar panel to as a source of energy in my house. So you see how bad it is. We are not guaranteed throughout in my area. There's no electricity, no power. So imagine if I have to run some machines or a factory. That means I would have to be using solely diesel, using generators and so on to power my factory. And you know, diesel is expensive now. I think the government has even removed the subsidy. So people who use diesel, use generators, they are not finding it easy.
Olumide is laughing when you said the generator.
So you can imagine it's crazy. So let alone getting the energy to process these things into chips, like you said in the cassava industry. Processing it as much it takes energy, it takes manpower, and it takes some machines and technical know-how. And apart from that, in Nigeria now, when you want to start anything good, it is the people in your community, people in that community that has become a stumbling block or a barrier to your success. When you want to do anything, even if you want to construct a road, you would have to pay a fee to the community youth. Without paying those fees, they will come and obstruct you. And so when you factor all these things together, it begins to make sense to you why there's problems here and there. We are not even talking about the excessive tax by government and their agents and what have you. Everybody is every from the local government level to the state level to the federal level, they are all coming with tax and different that. So that all these things is what is frustrating farmers, frustrating agricultural agripreneurs and so on in Nigeria. So
there's a company, right? Like Isaac, there's a company, a company in Nigeria called MDS. MDS, it used to be a division of UAC of Nigeria. A company called MDS. You know, if you go, okay, let me give you a story. UAC, right? Nigeria was quote unquote, right, a colony first of all, not of the British, right, but of the group of British entrepreneurs. So they came together and they got a license from the British government to essentially run Nigeria as a business, right? And then of course to make returns back to the British government. There was a company called UAC that was created, and UAC was also into trade, palm oil trade. That Jaja Fupogo guy, he was fighting with UAC, right? So essentially what happened, if you go to Nigeria, if you go across, you see these warehouses all across the place in very, very remote areas, but when you have lots of produce. There's the big warehouse in Niger State where at Kogi, where they have the River Niger, so they can take produce down the River Niger, right? You've got them in all over the north for grains. This is basically what UAC did back then. This is before there was in Nigeria, like in 19 or 1800s. They built the infrastructure to gather harvest, put them in a place, and then the railways were then built. If you look at all Nigerian railways, they are all built going from north to south, from agricultural produce belts to the coast in the south to be exported out. And there is no Nigerian railway going west to east, which is talking about trade within Nigeria. It's all going north to south because the British built them to export the raw produce out. So that's part of the things that we haven't on our own built our own infrastructure, right? To be able to capture mangoes, right? Mangoes, someone sent a picture the other day of mangoes in Benue, literally rotting away, just piles of mangoes rotting away. I know Transcorp went to Benue and put a company in Benue, Terrango, and the company failed because I heard it was cheaper to bring in mango juice than to make mango in Nigeria. So it's a lot of problems, man. It's a lot of the infrastructure point is a big one. Jay, what do you want to say? Jay Kali, welcome to the Spaces. Be glad to have you join and make a comment if you want to do that.
Hi, hello.
How you doing?
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you, Bobby. Hey, what's going on with you?
Oh, very fine, thank you. Finally, I don't know what's up with Twitter access space.
I know, right? I know. I know.
Yeah. I have to go out join market a couple of times before I eventually was able to get my Mac.
Well, welcome. We're glad to have you. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. I'm trying to get Jay Callie. I think he had on mute to speak. Jay Callie, you can unmute. I'm going to send a message to comment. Hey Jay, how you doing?
Let Obi speak first. Let Obi speak.
Obi is the co-host.
Okay, all right. Thank you for this opportunity, and I must say I'm very impressed with the opportunity you make available for people like out of the country. Because, for instance, like me, I'm not in the country, and I'm in Lithuania. And I remember last time I spoke, like maybe when you had something about investment.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and when you're talking about commodity, this is essential because everyone needs food. And where we are right now, like the war between Russia and Ukraine, it has like impact on where we're living in aspect of, let's remember last month, there was scarcity of salt.
So wait, you are in Lithuania, right? That's just like, yes. You're right there in the...
We have a border whatsoever is happening between Ukraine and Russia. So like, it has like huge impact and huge effects on us here. And I could remember like my mother-in-law was saying, like mostly Africans that depend on Ukraine in most of like wheat to make bread and flour and those things like that. And like very soon, like there's going to be impact because, for instance, now, like now the resources they have is like maybe annually for a year, and because of the war, they might not be able to produce. So that means next year there's going to be like more scarcity of most of the commodity.
Yeah.
And for instance, now like vegetable oil, things like that, they're like the price is already like skyrocketing here, and definitely very soon it will go high. But like the point I'm trying to bring in is, like in Nigeria, there are a lot of opportunities there in Nigeria, which people have not utilized yet. Because, for instance, here where I am now in Lithuania, there are like firm, like processing firm, which is what they do. Because, like for instance, like the government, they encourage the farmers in this place, like support them with tractor, with loan, and you can do your farm with ease. And when you get your product, like your harvest, there's a place like processing company. You just have to take everything to that place. They'll buy everything.
So it's really, it's really the infrastructure we're talking about, right? That's just, I mean, oh man, right? That's where I personally think that's where the problem is. That infrastructure, we don't have that set up to essentially.
Yeah. But this is the point I'm trying to say. For instance, now imagine Kano, like if like maybe 10 or 20 Nigerian youths, I believe like there are people out there with funds, with resources. If like maybe these people can come with 2 million each or something, and they come up with this, okay, this is what we want to do. Everyone is going into agriculture, but like now we want to set up this processing company, like okay, whatsoever you invest in, you bring it to this place, but we'll buy it from you, we'll process it. So if like maybe let's say 20 youths come together, one person is in charge of finance, one person is in charge of resources, they put things together, they can come up with like let's say maybe 50 million, and they can do this on their own without depending on government, because like I believe this is what mentality we Nigerians have. Like I think we always have like this victim, mentality, like okay, like this or somebody's taking this or something. But like if we go out like okay, I don't want to be a victim. Like let's do this, let's come. We know like okay, we have these resources, we can use this even without giving account of what we use it for. But like there will always be like excuses, reason to give excuses, like not to do this, like okay, the government, the electricity, this, like even in the aspect of electricity, like we very, very smart people, we can come up with a way to create our own electricity without even the government. But like we have this victim mentality, like
No, I hear you. I hear Jay. I hear you, bro. I think if you pick the average Nigerian guy off the street in Nigeria, the average Nigerian guy. Oluwaseun, I see you're going to talk very soon. The average Nigerian guy off the street, right?
I can mute for the guy.
No, don't worry. I think you make a good point. I just want just some come back then. Oluwaseun and Isaac can come back in. The average Nigerian guy is very, very hardworking. But look at what Isaac was saying, that he's powering his house with solar, right? The guy, so the government has got to at least lay the policy. The borders were closed. The borders were closed. So let's say you form this cooperative and you do your own, you get your cassava, you cut it, you weigh it, you bag it, you put it in a truck, you drive to the border is closed. Come on, so I hear you. I think you're right that we have to look. Yeah. We have to look inwards, but let me hear Oluwase. After Oluwase, I'll go to then we'll come back to Isaac. Oluwase, you can unmute. Jay, don't go anywhere, man. They might have a question for you. Oluwase, what's up, man? Okay, great. Hey, what's happening, sir?
All right. Yeah, first of all, thank you for the space. I think it's really a good thing. My apologies for joining late. I was just trying to catch up with other spaces.
Super.
I even heard you reference someone who was powering the house with solar.
Yeah, he's right here. That's Isaac. Yeah.
If you could just send me a DM of the different people who spoke on different projects that they're working on. I'm an investor based in the States, and I'm looking for projects. I'm doing something in Accra this year, but I'm looking for projects in Nigeria to invest in. But I want to hear a little bit more about what you were talking about with us just now. Sounding very interesting.
Yeah.
And again, forgive me for joining late, or if anybody else can comment on this. And again, it's really unfortunate what is happening in Ukraine and with Russia and everything. But I'm Nigerian, and I think this is an interesting opportunity for Nigeria in agri-space, especially in core states, to step up to the plate and maybe provide opportunities for exports. So if maybe Kali or anybody else in the panel or anyone was for it, can you please comment on are there any kind of complexes or agriculture or shows that are coming up in the next few months, or any kind of space that will have a list of the agricultural companies, whether established or up and coming, that are going to be trying to maybe look for opportunities to get their product to market and export. And I guess the B is, are there any kind of general technology or industrial shows that will be coming up, let's say for investors like myself who want to attend to look for ways to invest? And I'll stop right there.
I think that's a very good ask. I'm going to come back to you and say, hey, you can probably send me a DM of the sort of project size, geography you're looking at. I can curate that and share it out. Hope it's also here as well. This space is actually sponsored, or it's powered by ComX. We wanted them to come in here. They're an agricultural commodity exchange. So that's the whole idea, to bring them in to speak about Commodity Exchange. I am going to add, I think, the gentleman from ComX to speak now. I think he can answer a lot more of your questions better than I can. But Oluwaseun, don't go anywhere. Send me that DM. We can talk. Isaac wants to speak. I'm going to ask Isaac to go ahead and speak now. Then we'll come back to Yeye. But Oluwaseun, don't go anywhere. Isaac, you can unmute and then go ahead and maybe answer what Oluwaseun wants to ask. Or if you have your own comments, you can go ahead and do that. I'm going to add the ComX guy in a minute.
Mr. Kalu Aja, and Mr. Oluwaseun. Unfortunately, I'm working on the project currently, although I'm kind of applied for a grant, and I'm part of the people who applied for a grant with the Kunilu Foundation and applying under the agricultural sector. And I will be working on my project. Basically, I'm focusing on the agricultural sector and in the cassava processing. That is why this space is very important to me. Very soon, before the end of this month, I'll be registering my business. I'm going to the CZ, I'll be registering everything so tech. So if you want to support, you really want to support, and you are interested in the agricultural sector, I think you can meet the Kunilu Foundation or contact them too, so that you can sponsor one or two persons or invest in one or two business ideas or existing business already. There are a lot of opportunities in that sector. And also, it is important that I say that in terms of agriculture in Nigeria, there have been groups of people that I remember. There was a time, some time ago, I give them money to farm the ugu leaves, then bring them to the company, like the company is buying it from them. So if you can keep on having those kind of opportunities, it will go a long way, because the program is not sourcing or farming or cultivating these crops. It's about seeing a ready-made market. Okay, if people can come together and say, okay, well, or we are going to be teaching you how to export, we are going to be teaching you how to store, or we want to come into the market and see how we can help you to source for finance or funding, so that you will be able to get start or support agricultural businesses or agri-entrepreneurial. It will go a long way in helping. The youth of Nigeria, as we have it now, they are frustrated, they are tired, they don't even know what to believe anymore, because there are a lot of promises, politicians when it's election time, and at the end of the day, they just disappoint us. So that is what I'm to say. Thank you.
Oluwaseun, did you ever come back to that, Oluwaseun?
No, I guess it's the same old story. I was in a space earlier where I literally just had to leave because there were just people arguing and going back and forth. But the one thing I'll say is this: we in the diaspora were listening, and for me personally, I was actually trying to. I have 2 engineers that I was trying to bring to do some work in the construction space, and one of the key engineers, he's from Grenada. He's never been to the African continent as a whole.
Yeah.
He said he's always wanted to go. But he took me aside in confidence and said, look, bro, I really support what you're doing, but he actually confessed that he was afraid to go to Nigeria. And I was trying to convince him, don't worry, you'll be okay, this and that.
Yeah.
But finally, I had to just say, okay, you know what, at least let's get established on the continent. Obviously the goal is Nigeria. I think there are plenty of things to do in Nigeria. I guess the one thing I'll say is this. Me personally, I'm going to be very frank. I try to stay away from the politics, and with all due respect, I try to stay away from the religion. And I think I'm for Nigeria. I think there are a lot of others like me who are silently watching. In fact, I must confess and say that I was even afraid, because, if I go into a project and have any amount of success, Nigerians look at me like I'm not Nigerian, or I don't support this support that.
Okay. Oluwaseun, I want you to listen to Femi. I finally got Femi in here. Femi is from ComX, from the Commodity Exchange, and I think he would have a bit more to say in terms of this space. So I'm going to make Femi. Femi, you can unmute now and just more introduce yourself and just maybe walk us through. You've had a few of the comments from Oluwaseun, from Jay, from Isaac. Yeah, I see. I'm going to make you speak, not to worry. So if you could just maybe lay out that groundwork for us and just talk to us about this Commodity Exchange, what it's all about, how we can get in, and then probably can take it from there. So I see you guys. I was going to let you all speak. Femi, you got the floor.
Right. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Oluwafemi. I'm currently a structural and origination analyst at AFEX, essentially structuring financial products to aid the creation of shared prosperity. Just to touch on what Oluwaseun was trying to buttress on. Currently on the exchange, or in AFEX, we're currently organizing a code cash crop program where we actually bring together businesses' ideas that merge agriculture, technology, and finance. So if you're looking for businesses in agriculture to fund, I think that would be a great avenue for you to plug into it, identify potential prospective good businesses that have very good upside in the future and that are actually solving issues in the country. So just to go back to commodities trading, like many people have said, I think the important thing here is that commodities are like the foundation to almost everything that we do. So you think about energy, you think about metals, you think about the food we eat. So to a large extent, we cannot actually exist without commodities, funnily enough. And in the domestic space currently, we produce a lot of commodities, a lot of sub-staples like rice, sorghum, soybeans, maize, and these staples actually have an important value to the economic activities in the country. It's worrying to know that agriculture contributes a significant proportion to the GDP, right? And then when you look at the breakdown of agriculture, you see that crop production accounts for a significant bulk of it. Now, if we then look at how commodities actually play in hedging against inflation and giving superior returns at the end of the day, mind you, inflation mattress food inflation, right? And according to the NBS, according to how they've actually structured the inflation in the country, they have said that. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Go for it.
And so they've actually said that the average Nigerian spends over 50% of his income on food. So what this means is that if an individual like myself earns 100 naira at the end of the day, 50 naira would actually go to food, right? And if you look at this, it means that if food inflation is increasing, if headline inflation is increasing at the end of the day, it means that the prices of foods are increasing. And what are these food items that we're looking at? You have, like I said, you have to think about commodities like maize. You have to think about commodities like soybean. You have to think about commodities like paddy rice, sugar. And commodities like maize and soybean have an integral part to do with the Nigerian economy, as they actually also play in the feed industry, right? And we know that Nigeria is a place whereby there's a large demand for egg, there's a large demand for poultry feeds, poultry products, there's a large demand for all this. So at the end of the day, plugging into commodities, investing into commodities actually helps you hedge against the risks of the erosion of capital.
So, Femi, can we drill this down? Let me drill it down for you. So inflation right now is 15. Do you guys have any commodities that you offer? Maybe let's start with saying, what do you guys offer? Like, what commodities can if I want to invest in commodities, what can I do?
Okay, so I was going to go into this, right?
Oh, gotcha.
Currently, we have a trading platform, and we've made trading commodities very seamless in Nigeria. We have a trading platform called ComX on Apple Store, and basically you could download it. Now, once you register on this platform, you could actually trade commodities like maize from the comfort of your home. You could trade commodities like paddy rice, you could trade commodities like sorghum, you could trade cocoa, you could trade cashew, right, from the comfort of your house. So what this means is that once you're subscribed on the platform or you're registered on the platform, at the end of the day, you can sit in the comfort of your home, say, I want to buy a kg of maize. Now, this contract you're buying is backed by commodities in an approved warehouse, right? And it is stored there. So you're buying the contract and you're trading it with people. And it's worthy to know that since the start of the season, maize on the exchange has done over 40%, right?
Wow.
Commodities like soybean have done over 30%. Commodities like sorghum have done over 20%. Commodities like cashew have done over 40%. So if I take my disposable income, say 100 naira, and I plugged it into maize right at the start of the season, I should be having 100 and how much now? 40 naira. Right?
Much higher than inflation. Much higher than inflation.
Exactly.
Can I ask one small question? My apologies for interruption.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll take one point that you brought up just there. So like myself and maybe yourself, we're probably more, let's say, sophisticated traders. We could do trading and whatever with different assets. But the use case I'm curious about, let's say there's a small family-run farm, let's say somewhere in Alpha. Maybe they don't have the best internet. Do they have access to training on how to use the platform? And could they trade on the platform and maybe have their own goods in Alpha somewhere, part of the warehouse inventory, so that if someone wanted to, just say, take a put, maybe they sold a put on your exchange to take physical delivery after assignment, could that small farmer in Alpha now have his or her goods be a part of the physical delivery aspect of an option trade on your platform?
Yes, that's a possibility, right? And the interesting thing is, as an exchange, we are also very impact driven. Maybe one of these days you could come around and we could show you our impact report on how we train farmers, numbers of farmers we've trained, or financial literacy, better business practices, good agricultural practices, because we know that these farmers are essential to a vibrant and robust commodities exchange. Very soon on the exchange, you'll see the trading of futures contracts, right? Based off commodities, based on these commodities that you've mentioned, say maize, soybean, and the likes. And this means that this farmer could actually deliver on this contract. This farmer could actually trade this contract on the exchange. Also, as of now, yes, farmers could actually be part of the people delivering on the exchange, trading on the exchange, and it is very plausible, right? Because at the end of the day, our motto is to create shared prosperity. And how can we do this, right? Over the years, we've seen that farmers have been significantly marginalized in the sense whereby they stay significantly away from economic hotspots. And this has resulted to a fragmented commodities market. What this means is that you see traders go into the local trading, go into the village to buy very cheap for farmers, right? And then take the same commodities, come to the economic hospital, come to the open market and sell significantly high to processors and all that. And at the end of the day, use the farmer as a vicious cycle of poverty. So our activities is actually somehow, or rather, is strictly tailored also to creating wealth for the farmers, improving their livelihood over time, right? Even from our impact report, you see that farmers who have spent over 2 seasons with us are less likely to be poor. It's funny, or are less likely to be exposed to food as we're exposed to hunger. So it's very interesting that even while we try to create products that will help the individual retail investors, right, or the institutional guys to create wealth and consistently create wealth in a sustainable manner, we are also looking at farmers, right, and we are also creating a mechanism for them to actually create wealth for themselves, to improve their disposable income that they can apply into their business activity, which is agriculture, and produce more. Right.
So Femi, just to ask the same question Luashino asked, but in a different way. So if I'm a farmer in Offa and I farm cassava, it is possible for me in Offa to sell 20 bags of cassava to ComX. It's easy, it's seamless. I can do that and get my money today.
Yes.
Assuming this person does not have a smartphone.
Exactly.
She only has a feature phone.
Okay, so we understand the current technical or rather technological adoption of these smallholder farmers in Nigeria, right? And the very interesting thing is, even if these farmers cannot place this trade themselves, they could always place a call to the exchange, and someone in a designated desk will do this trade for them.
Gotcha.
The easiest thing for them to do is for them to go to a warehouse. Oh, I want to deliver this. I want this to be shown in my client security depository, right? Okay. And what this means is, I want my profile that's on the exchange to actually have these commodities, and then
would it be his personal profile or would it be your profile? If he takes his cassava to that warehouse, who is the counterparty? Is it ComX and say the buyer myself, or is it him and the buyer myself? Who is the counterpart? How does the counterparty relationship work?
So what the exchange currently do is just provide the market platform.
Oh, gotcha.
Right. So at the end of the day, if a farmer says, "Oh, he calls the exchange, oh, can you place this trade for me?" Right, at this price, at this volume, it would be done, and then he will be matched with someone else, maybe a Grand Cereal or maybe a retail investor, essentially anybody that actually wants to buy this commodity at the end of the day.
Okay, and then my buyer, as the buyer, my order is keyed in there, and then when he comes in, it's you guys, the system will sort of match us like stocks, the same way we do stock trading and all that.
Yes. So the OMS would match everybody. Essentially, we just provide that enabling factor. So we provide the infrastructure, like was spoken about, where we don't exactly have enough storage for commodities in Nigeria. So we provide the infrastructure in terms of the hard and soft infrastructure, and then we say, okay, you know what? If farmer can come and say, oh, I want to drop this, I want this to reflect on my portfolio. He gets his contract, right? And then he could place a call to say, oh, I want to sell at this price. And maybe a Grand Cereal is saying, oh, I want to buy at this price. And then once that order is put, it matches automatically. He gets his money. He can withdraw his money whenever he wants.
Love it. Femi, I'm going to ask you to pause. I want to just play the deck a bit, right? I've got IBF Farms. I've got I want to just basically come in and ask you a question. So in case, so to get them, you've been waiting a bit. So IPF Farms can go first. I'm going to have go next. So IPF Farms, can you unmute and maybe ask Femi or the house or anyone a question or what you want to basically talk about? IPF Farms. I'm going to have you unmute, sir, and then you can ask your question. Okay. If he's waiting, are you ready to unmute and ask? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Go for it. IPF Farm, just hold on. Go for it.
Okay, so I actually have one pertinent question, right? Listening to all of these, listening to all of what you've been saying and what the ComX guys have been saying about building the infrastructure for commodities. So my question is, what exactly were those agri-tech guys doing? Because I need to understand. I've been struggling to wrap my head around what it was that they were doing and how
you have come again.
Okay, can I take a bite of that?
It's a very good question. I like the question. So let me It's all yours.
Okay, so the interesting thing is that there are different models to which people want to operate what's it called, agri businesses in Nigeria, right? And the key fact is in a lot of the fundamental factors that actually make or break agricultural businesses is one, the model to which they want to adopt, and then their access to funding, right? And then their user adoptions at the end of the day. Now, what you're probably referring to is a crowdfunding model where you see people say, oh, this has returned over this amount of money, and then go to the market and raise this ridiculous amount, promising a ridiculous return that they might not be able to deliver on. That was a model that was sort of primed for failure, because if 5 crowdfunding businesses spring up, they have a competition of who's going to provide the better rates, right? And then people promising rates that are not reasonable or are not realistic in the current market, right? But having an exchange business is essentially just saying, it's a marketplace, right? And the products designed on the exchange have been licensed by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So the authorities have actually taken a look at it and said, okay, this product is viable, it's sustainable, and it has no cause for failure for this fundamental state, right? So what this means is when you see products like input notes, where you're financing farmers that will actually return, and you're getting any return from that. That product itself has embedded in itself risk hedging futures, right? Or risk hedging characteristics like insurance yield and the likes, right? But these guys actually go through that process, and I like everyone to know that before a lot of them started springing up and the significant exit by a lot of them, the Securities and the Exchange Commission did not have a proper or a full regulation for that business space.
Yeah, you're right. So now, so yes, basically has asked that question, and you're basically essentially saying they really didn't do much. They weren't really structured to really go into that business as real, agricultural commodities exchange, or linking between the buyers and the farmers and the sellers and all that. I'm hearing that's what you're basically answering. Do you have to do a comeback on that? Do you have a comeback on that?
Okay, the reason why I was even asking this was because I'm from Edo State. I remember seeing all those commodity trucks coming along the road, because you see that they'll put all the cocoa along the road, and then they'll be going from house to house to pick it up.
Where was this?
So I was thinking how difficult it was, so that's how I was trying to wrap my head around.
When was this? When you were picking up cocoa? What year was this? Was it like a long time ago, or like?
No, we're talking about 30 odd years ago.
Oh, the good old days. No. Those days are gone now.
This is before, and then so okay, so for my mother's side, I come from a large agricultural family. So I remember that they would sell their produce through a lot of the cooperatives at the local government level.
Yes.
They would sell their rice, they are processing gari. There's a community grinding place, there's a community frying place, and a community cassava pressing place. Yes, so because I remember all of those things. And so that's one of the reasons why I was just so curious. The second question I have is, when are they going to start doing things like maybe cattle and I guess wet produce like your tomatoes and things like that?
Femi? Yeah, Femi, go for it.
Alright, so I can assure you that when it works with that, so in order to have proper contracts that will trade these underlying commodities that you were referring to, these wet commodities, dairy, cattle, cheese, tomatoes, and the likes, right? We need a lot of infrastructure, right? Because you can't trade tomatoes. Tomato doesn't have a long shelf life. If you really look at it, right? So there's the issue of storage, there are all the fundamental issues we want to go into. And as an exchange that is regulated by the commission, we do a lot of due diligence before we understand. Okay, we can store this, we can trade this, the technology can enable it, then people that deliver on it. So there's a lot of process or due diligence that needs to be done, of which we are currently in the works of, but pretty much soon.
Yeah, I'm gonna have IBF. Yeah, you good?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Excellent. I'm gonna have IBF Farms comment. Yeah, thank you so much. I appreciate you. IBF Farms, you got the floor, sir. How you doing? Yes, we can. Go for it.
This is Mr. Animation from IBF Farms and Commodities. Actually, what we do is we bring buyers and sellers together, just like an aggregator. At the same time, we do farm. It's more skill.
Okay.
Commodities. Can you hear me?
Yes, you're very clear. Go for it.
Commodities is quite hectic. I'm always on road mostly all the time. I don't even stay at home. So the way we are analyzing this is more difficult than the way it is in outside. Sometimes the farmers will tell you, okay, I have $30 a piece. At the end of the day, when you get there, maybe see $10. Okay. Start paying from one place to another, like this OB set just now. So there's a lot of work to put in when it comes to agro commodities. A lot of work. Sometimes when people might even cross check. We do this in the rain, in the storm, just to make the news complete and give the customer the well satisfied. So my only take is just when it comes to agro commodities, you have to be just extraordinary careful. Extraordinary careful in what you are buying, and then the customer, you have to give them the best. So, like in our farm now, we trade ginger, we trade fresh ginger, we trade maize, and we do supply to companies also. We do supply, we do payment on that, we do cassava stem and all that. So that's what we do. And all these things I've just mentioned for you, I can guarantee you get it. You even get 2 trailer, positive trailer in a warehouse.
Let me ask you a question.
And sometimes,
Are you working with ComX? Yes or no? And why not?
I'm not working with ComX.
Okay.
I'm working on myself because it's a registered company also.
No, I know, but they're an exchange. So I'm just trying to figure out, not you particularly, but is there any concerns with farmers working with an exchange like AFEX ComX that is giving you guys, like say, a larger market, right, to market to people like myself?
No, we have farmers in the states. I already based in the states. We have farmers. They are like 20 farmers. I told them that I need 30 tons of maize. In the next 1 week, they'll bring it out for me.
Can I step in a bit?
Sure.
So, great feedback at BF Funds. I like the fact that you've stressed that trading commodities in Nigeria is hard work, right? So, the interesting thing is we've had a lot of years to iterate our business model, to look at the value chain and look at what can we leverage on, what are our strengths, what are our weaknesses, how can we build competencies, right? And over the years, we have over 300,000 farmers on the exchange, play on the exchange on a daily basis, right? Over the years, we've seen the supply of over 400,000 farmers for inputs, of which they come back paying back in commodities or trading on the exchange. And the reason why we've experienced this success is because we leverage on our network, our wide network of field extension offices. We have over 500 field extension offices. We have over 150 warehouses in Nigeria. So before a farmer will trade commodity on our exchange, he has to deliver this commodity at our warehouse. And when this commodity is delivered at our warehouse, there is a lot of due diligence, right? What's the grain quality? What's the moisture? What's its weight? What are all these before it is accepted into the warehouse and before his portfolio is created?
So in short, Femi, you are saying it's better for someone like him to essentially go via you guys?
Yes, it saves you a lot of stress because you're going to one farmer, you're going by one farmer, you have to check back, you have to do all this, but the exchange has done this for you already. And the exchange has over 3,000 network of farmers on the system, right? So it is assured that if you need a certain metric ton of maize as at now, you will get it there. If you are able to bid at the prices that the farmers are bidding for.
let's say I'm trading as an outsider, and maybe I want to make a trade that will support, let's say, a company that's here, that maybe in California, that maybe there might be a small African market that I want to see if I can help them get supplies using your exchange. So then I will take, let's say, I will sell a put for a certain date, preferably close to expiration, that I think will be good for a shipper, and then I'll take delivery and have it sent. Is there any, and the reason why I'm asking this particular use case is that, so I'm an outsider, I don't live there, I'm obviously an opportunist or a speculator looking to make an opportunity for a business that I want to run here in the States. And again, this is just it could be for Kalu, it could be for Femi, it could be Happy Farms. I'm kind of new to the space, I'm trying to learn. So how do you first, are there any controls in place or checks and balances that can verify that companies that are coming to exchange to take physical delivery of produce are actually going to first at least make sure that Nigerian people are being fed, and also the farms or the traders themselves who are taking this delivery are at least somehow benefiting the farmers first before they're just taking things away from Nigeria or away from the farmer community. And the second part of the question is, what is your comment or input around I see a lot of Chinese farmer companies that are going into the agri-space that are setting up shop and they're just exporting stuff back to China. So those are my two questions or comments.
Okay, so just to take a stab at that, right now on the exchange, right, like I said earlier, we are very impact driven. I think we would share our impact reports with you just to see what we're doing or what we've been doing over the years. And just to emphasize, when someone buys on the exchange, they're buying from the farmer. So all the funds are going to the farmer. We've made the system so traceable. There's traceability, that traceability is embedded with sustainability, and we are seeing the income of farmers grow over time. So rest assured, anybody playing on the exchange is directly dealing with a farmer or numerous farmers, right, at the same time. So if a farmer says, I want to sell baby cocoa at 1 million naira per metric ton, and it's bought by maybe Herschel, an international company, that 1 million metric ton would go directly to the farmer's wallet, right? And the farmer has the authority to withdraw that money whenever they want. It's their money, it's their income, right? So with this process flow, with this transaction flow that we've established on the exchange through our trading platform, rest assured that every income goes directly to the farmer or goes directly to whoever is trading the commodity on the exchange, right? But mind you, like I said, we're very impact driven. We want to improve the livelihood of farmers because small farming in Nigeria is predominantly a smallholder farming thing, right? And if you don't improve the livelihood of these people, they will remain in the vicious cycle of poverty, and our food supply will continue to be largely import than export. And then at the end of the day, we're importing inflation upon ourselves, right, due to our foreign exchange issues. So over the years, we continue to focus on the farmer, right, providing input providing affordable low-cost input before the cultivation of commodities or the cultivation cycle, closely training the farmer, saying, okay, these are better agricultural practices, this is how to apply the fertilizer, these are the demonstrations, this is everything. I have our field extension officer go and check up on the farmer once in a while to see how you're doing, how is everything, hope you're doing well, what can we help you with. Also train the farmer on financial practices, right, because a lot of these guys don't exactly know how to record or properly keep records of their business practices, right? So how much have I sold, how much have I earned, what's my income, what's my profit, what do I need to do? We also take real-time information on everything spanning the agricultural space in Nigeria. So looking at weather conditions and advising farmers to say, okay, I think right now it's better for you to cultivate this and this and preserve your income over time. So yeah, our business okay.
Just say so.
Thank you. Okay, can I just chip in? Okay, go ahead. I just like anything.
What we in Nigeria, what we really do is we buy from farmers. Sometimes when you give them value, at the end of the day, they just come and just start putting their hands for that nothing comes out, so stuff like that. So what we do is that we just buy directly from that store in the warehouse. Right now, we are exporting ginger with CLS countries. And then we have maize on ground in the warehouse, we have soybean in the warehouse. And sometimes when we have traded like that, when we have much on ground, there's a popular market in the Kaduna where we do buy from chiefs and in other markets, we buy from them and we sell our customers. So that's how we do run our own business. It's quite different from our ComX, but mostly all the time we are always on TV to get our customer the best rates and our product of high quality. So that's just it.
Well, one last question for both of you, both for Femi and for Happy Farms. How do you guys deal with the price differentiation across the state? Like, I mean, I've called sometimes my cousins sometimes, and they say that the price sometimes, let's say for cassava, let's say it goes at one price, but then within a half hour, in Abuja or Kwara, the price is totally three different prices. How do you guys deal with price differentiation?
Thank you very much. Okay. No, go ahead.
When they say the product is in Lagos, it's higher, in Kaduna is lower, in the Southwest is lower. And sometimes it depends on the agents. Let me just put it down. Some agents will just add their own commission to it. And normally you see this price on the day. We are not the one regulating price. We give out price. This is what we are selling. This is what we are selling. So when you see the price of Lagos different from the price of the North, you should know that the agents is beginning at the price. And just to check so what the price like that.
So just to chip into this, Mr. Oluwaseun, just before I round up, I just want to clarify something for you, right? So there are two regions in Nigeria. If you think about the commodity space, largely in the domestic market in Nigeria. So we have the key producing region and we have the key consuming region, right? And most likely than not, the key consuming region isn't exactly close or isn't exactly in the same place as the key producing region. So you have people producing a significant proportion of the maize in Kaduna, and then you have the factories like Grand Series and the like in Southwest, maybe Ibadan or Lagos, right? And if you now think about which is an essential part to commodities price and logistic differential, right? So how much will it cost someone to actually deliver these commodities from Kaduna to Lagos, right? So when you think about this, you see that the price in Lagos would significantly be higher than that in Kaduna, one, because of that transportation cost, right? And just also to add, there's what we call due to market fragmentation, right? You see a lot of price arbitrage because there's price asymmetry. People don't know what the price is. Nobody's exactly sure, like IBF farmers rightly said, right? But if you're on an exchange, you have access to all these prices. You have access to real-time information. You know, okay, this is what the price is in this location. This is what the price is in that location. This is what I want to do. This is what I will probably incur as logistic cost to transport these commodities from this location to this location, right? So even just without just so also, and this is embedded on our markets, right? Just providing the marketplace and also providing real-time information to help market players make better informed decisions. So I
agree with you, Femi. I agree with you. I think if we can get IBF farms and also my friend that farmer to work more with you guys, I think we're getting there. I agree with you that you guys should be the platform. That should be the way it's done. That's how it's done here in the West, where you have farms working with exchanges, right? And that's where investors can then invest, provide liquidity, and the farms can then just concentrate on growing those crops. I totally completely adhere with you on that. That farmer, I don't know if you want to chip in. Femi is here, Oluwaseun is here, good debate. That farmer, you can unmute and maybe give us what you have in mind, and then we can take it from there. Can you speak up a bit, sir? I can hear you, but if you speak up a bit, it will be just perfect. Obi, thanks so much.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, I think I'm a bit late, but let me just chip in some things from what
the speaker, I think Oluwaseun was asking about farmers and China coming to Nigeria to come and do most of their agribusiness. To be very honest with you, these guys, most times they are the ones doing the real business in Nigeria when it comes to agriculture. I mean, direct production, investing their personal money, consistency, and all before they get it right. I think the good thing is that they are doing it in Nigeria and they are investing. I can mention about 5 farms for you that these Chinese guys have been working on for more than 5 years. And I can tell you that for almost 4 years, it has been failure upon failure. But once they get it right, a lot of people who doesn't know how they started this, we start saying, oh, they came to Nigeria and they start doing this. Why do we call ourselves Nigeria? You see, I have to say this because I work most time with the local farmers. Sorry, I'm using the word local farmers. We, let me say, the exposed one most time want to play game or wants to cheat these farmers, and that is why it's very difficult for most of them to trust anybody with their produce. The only place you can buy their produce that they'll feel comfortable, it is well-known Kala market. That is the general market they take their produce. No matter any amount you are taking to them, and you want to buy from them from their house, which will save you a lot of cost in terms of transportation, they will tell you no, you have to come to that car. Because when you look at the kind of scheme people are designing for them, they just want to keep them in total poverty. Giving them seed, not monitoring them, not concerned about their yield, but always telling them the numbers of bags of produce they are going to give back to them. So, in most cases, we all know if you have the plan that you are going to get 3 tons per hectare on maize, for instance, and somebody somewhere gave you seed, gave you chemical, and agreed upfront that you are going to give him 20 bags of maize. Unfortunately for the farmer, most time these people do not even provide essential service to this farmer. In fact, in most time, the people who are even giving them do not even have knowledge half of what the farmers have. Now, when things go south, they still want to collect the exact amount of produce they give to this farmer. And I've been telling people, the only way out, Nigerian agric system needs to be developed in 2 ways. Agric strictly for business. And if you are going to be doing agric as poverty alleviation, the areas that need major focus, because it is the people, the subsistence farmers that produce majority of what we do in Nigeria, what we consume. Those who have access to fund, the moment they started the first year, they fail, they run away. These people continuously, they have been doing it, they have mastered it. But we need to improve on what they are doing to help them in areas of yield. How can we do this? The only way out, mechanization is part of it. Good seed is part of it. Funding is part of it.
What about an exchange? What about
access to reliable markets?
Okay, excellent.
Is part of it. But the areas we are lacking the most is the areas of cultivation, seed, and our agronomist practices. I can tell you today that we are not even producing, I don't want to over-exaggerate, almost half of what we need. And that is why you see price of maize jump from 12,000 when the season starts to almost 30,000 at the end of the season. By the time people start seeing good yield, let's say they use 600,000 to cultivate 1 hectare, and successfully they were able to get 4 tons, 5 tons. There will be some level of, oh, I have enough and I want to sell at this rate.
That farmer,
you see most of this.
That farmer, I want to get. I think you made a few points there. I only Femi wants to have a response to that, and I also have a few. Yeah, Femi, go for it.
Yeah, so I honestly love what that farmer is saying, right? And it's stressing the fundamental issue we have in the agricultural space, which is the fact that farmers lack trust for market players. And the reason why farmers usually lack this is because the market has been fragmented over the years, right? Gotcha. And I mean, if you read our input reports, we're really farmer driven. Because we know that over 80% of the food consumed or domestic food produced in Nigeria are by these smallholder farmers, right? And we continue to work with them. We continue to see ways we can actually improve their yield, provide low-cost financing ahead of the season, help teach them how best to utilize better agricultural practices to say, okay, this is how you can apply fertilizer, or you've planted on this land for a couple times. Why don't you move to another land? Why don't you switch your crops? We go into the nitty-gritty to helping this farmer improve their income and their livelihood over time, right? And not to sound like I'm boasting. I mean, I really like seeing testimonies from farmers. Usually when we have conversations with them, or if you go to our YouTube page and you see when we talk with the farmers, you see how they're excited to see us, because we're really driven for these people, right? And we continue to look for ways to help improve them in terms of providing markets for them, which is the other end of the problem, which that farm was trying to emphasize also, is the fact that these people don't have a reliable market, right? And because of the fragmented nature of the market, the prices are asymmetric. Price information is in an asymmetric state. Nobody knows what the real price is. There's a high possibility that you might get cheated or you might end in loss. Who knows? Nobody knows, right? And if an exchange, if there's a marketplace that provides all this data for people, it will help everybody make better informed decisions to say, oh, Grassy knows they can buy at this price. Farmer in Ile-Ife cultivating cocoa, right? Or market cultivating cocoa knows that, oh, I can sell this ton of cocoa at this specific price. Or this is what the market is going at, so I can sell at this price. So the exchange is showing every market player what the prices is, what the current prices is, based on the activities on the exchange.
That's true. And I mean that farmer made a lot of points that I just can't go through over them, and I thank you for just trying to summarize the point. But it's all one thing: lack of, say, the infrastructure or the, should we say, the backbone to do this agricultural thing.
Sure.
That's basically what we say. Doctor is raising his hands up. I think it's Davis Miles. Davis Miles, I'm going to have you just hop in. I want to take this back to the individual investor. So, Dr. Miles, hop in, ask a question. I'm going to go back to Femi and just ask him to take us back to the individual investor. How can we be a part of it? Dr. Gabs, I see you. Go ahead and unmute and ask a question. Dr. Bouzier, yeah, go for it, sir. If you can hear me, unmute and go ahead and ask a question, sir. Or I will move on to Dawn. Dawn FM. If you can hear me, go ahead and unmute and go ahead and ask your question. Waiting on Dawn FM or Dr. Okay, Femi, let me come back to you, right? I think we've had two farmers here sort of speak. I've also had Oluwaseun. I'll take Oluwaseun as more or less like an investor, right? For me, the investor, like I'm talking for the maybe perhaps over 135 folks that are listening in. Is it viable? This is if I put money in ComX, do I get passive income? I don't know anything about agriculture. I don't know anything about commodities. I just want to earn something. I work in a ministry. I've got 100,000 naira lying around. What can I come to you guys and do something with it? How does that work?
So what we've done is we've realized over time that there isn't enough materials to educate the regular retail investor on the commodities market in Nigeria, right? So which is why we do a lot of periodic trainings, informative sections. We release a lot of research reports that are understandable, that we written for retail investors to understand the market itself, right? And which is why we also design products that are transparent, are easy to understand, and are sustainable and people can leverage on. A key example would be the exchange traded commodity, the fair trade exchange traded commodity, and the FETC. So if you're a retail investor doesn't really understand the commodities market, right? What he could easily do is if he comes to the exchange and says, I want to buy the FETC. The FETC is actively managed by a fund manager, right? Not the exchange, a fund manager, an individual party who's savvy in commodities trading in Nigeria, right? And then, he buys into the FETC or puts his money into the pool of fund. The fund is invested into commodities. The fund manager allocates the funding in the way he sees with the best interest of the retail investors in hand, right? At the end of the day, or at the end of the tenure of that product, people are sure to be receiving income based on the performance of the fund manager at the end of the day, right? And those are for people that have not taken time to say, okay, I want to read the research reports that's available. I want to attend the trainings provided by AFEX to better understand the commodity space.
Yeah. So just to clarify, this is like a mutual fund that investors can invest in and participate in the agricultural. Is that what it is?
So I wouldn't exactly call it a mutual fund, but it's exchange traded. So it has the characteristics of a mutual fund, but it isn't exactly a mutual fund, right? So there's a type of product we call that's likely called. Sorry.
Is it a futures contract? Can I trade options on those futures contracts?
As of now, we currently don't have futures contracts on the exchange, but that's in the works, right? Because before the end of the year, we should be seeing the rolling out of futures contract on the exchange for soft commodities. So yes, you can actually trade. Right now, what we have are spot contracts, right? And what this means is these are contracts settled now, right? So I take this one. So if you buy a spot based on the exchange, right? What you're doing right now is you're holding that contract, the contract, which is backed by commodities in a warehouse in your portfolio. And if the market moves, you can choose to sell that contract whenever you want. If you want the physical delivery, you can take the physical delivery whenever you want.
What is the margin per contract?
What is the margin per contract?
Are you saying whose margin now? Is it Oluwaseun for me, the investor, or for whose margin?
No, I'm asking as a trader. When I want to enter this platform and I want to take a contract position on a spot contract, I want to do a buy at a certain price, I set my limit order, and then I want to open a price, and then what's the margin I'm required to open that one contract?
Oh, you're talking like an investor. Okay.
So right now, if you want to buy a contract at the exchange, if you want to buy, say, 1,000 naira contract on the exchange, you have to have 1,000 naira contracts. You have to have 1,000 naira on your wallet on the exchange, right? Because we sort of operate a central wallet system as of now. So I come into the exchange, I want to buy cocoa. And you also have to read our contract specification, which is very important, right? Because our contract specification states the weight and how that is priced at the end of the day. So if you come on the exchange right now, you see that maize is available, 1 kg of maize, you could literally buy 1 kg of maize. That goes for about 200 and something naira, right? So if you want to buy 10 kg of maize, that's 2,000 and something, right? You need to have that 2,000 in your wallet for you to trade that.
It's the minimum lot size expressed in naira, more or less.
Yes, but going forward, like I said, we're looking to establish futures contract before the end of the year, right? And there will be a lot of conversation on, okay, how much margin should an investor have in order to trade the futures contract on the exchange. But I mean, we always want to have talks with you. You seem like a savvy guy. We love guys like you. We also love regular retail investors. We like seeing their growth journey. We like helping them grow. We love the families. So yeah, you can always reach out to us and we share materials with you. Activities.
I'm specifically interested in options on futures specifically. So definitely give me a follow. I want to ask some questions about that as well.
Yeah.
And also, with your products, let's say, any of your products, or at least let's say, can your order flow be sent to other data streams? Like, can someone buy or position on your exchange via route Bloomberg or via route NGX at the Nigerian exchange?
We're looking to integrate with a lot of these guys out there. We're still in the process of structuring the conversation with them, coming to an agreement. But as of now, if you really want to trade with us, you have to go through the ComX platform. but pretty much very soon in the very near future, I mean, you could trade. It's the possibility that you could trade through the Bloomberg platform, or you could go through the NGX, whichever is your preference right now, right? But as at now, it's just truly exchange. But again, we're having conversations with these guys, and hopefully it goes out well. And
Femi, let me just clarify again. Minimum is the minimum lot size. I heard you say 1,000 naira. So with my 100K, I can get it. So if I don't know what to buy, I can basically just quote unquote be part of that pool, and I can invest in commodities via that pool. You said before that about maize was up 40% and all. I can also open an account on the ComX and do my normal trade the same way I buy equities and all that as well. So on the investor side, it's a plus for us to get into fund that value chain as it was. And on your side, you are basically linking up the farmers to folks like me who are on the investor side, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
We're linking all market players.
All market players, gotcha. And for Louis Sheon, who is the sophisticated guy that looking for the options, he also has a place in that ecosystem, more or less.
Yeah.
Excellent.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, Toby.
Yeah, so you're talking, I think I'm just more focusing on the platform itself. So I know you mentioned that you can buy and then keep it, or even request for it to be sent to you. Now, if I decide to keep it with you guys, how long would it stay? What's the typical shelf life before you advise that the person should sell? So, for example, if I purchase maize, how long should I hold on to it before I sell? Is there a shelf life, or are all of this specified on the platform so that people we don't buy the commodities and then forget about it, and then maybe thinking, okay, I'll come back to it after 1 year and see if it has appreciated.
Sure.
And then second question would be, let me just ask a second question. So for a case where people have invested, and yes, it's not a good thing I'm about to ask, but yes, it does happen. Now, are there cases where you have like a next of kin or beneficiary that the person can add on the platform? This is what I'm saying, that for example, if somebody passes on, can a family member who have been added as a beneficiary, of course, get to know that is aware of that investment? Can the person, of course, come to claim it or sell off to get the returns? And then the third question would be, what's the profit margin? I know that by the time I sell off my portfolio, certain percentage definitely should come to. So if you say there was a 40%, it grew by 40%. What was the percentage that came to ComX, and what's the percentage that comes to me as an investor? Also, I'm just trying to look at the ROI.
Gotcha. Good questions, right?
Thank you very much for that, Obi. Currently on the platform, yes, we have the option to set up with Nest of King. So if anything should happen to you, your Nest of King is aware of whatsoever goes over you. Dealing with your first question, I think it's also very important, which is why we engage in a lot of market education, sensitizing, or teaching retail investors on the fundamentals driving the commodities market in Nigeria, right? Largely, staples in Nigeria, a dual season thing. And what this means is that it's usually produced within for the wet season and dry season, and the bulk of the production is from the wet season. So what this means is that when the calendar year is slowly approaching to the wet season, or at the wet season, you see resetting commodities prices, right? But what we always try to do is to educate people on this, to say, please understand, you can hold this as long as you want to hold this, but please note that there's always a reset. This is how the season works. These are fundamentals driving the market. Please check our reports. Please attend our webinars. Reach out to send emails to say, okay, yes, this is how the market is going. This is what's happening, and educate people consistently, right? Just to understand that, okay, this is what the market is. This is how it's going, right? So that people can make better decisions for themselves and not end up eroding their own capital with their investment decisions at the end of the day. In terms of for your third question, in terms of what you get at the end of the day as an investor, it's worthy to know that what is paid to the exchange as fee is very marginal, right? It's very, very marginal. So we have a 0.3 0 percentage fee to the commission. I mean, they had to earn money for that. We have the 0.50 percentage to the exchange for that transaction. So it's very marginal, right? So at the end of the day, if you're earning about 40%, we shouldn't be taking up to 2% of your income, of your earnings at the end of the day, because again, we need to pay commission, you need to pay your broker, and for providing that platform, you need to pay us 0.50%. So it's very, very marginal. I hope that solves everything.
Yeah.
Thank you, Professor.
Yeah, has Emmanuel spoken? Emmanuel is here as a speaker. Emmanuel has had a chance to speak? I'm not sure.
No, he hasn't.
Emmanuel
hasn't spoken.
Emmanuel, are you still there?
Yes, I'm here.
How you doing? Go for it, sir. You've got the floor.
Alright, sorry, I joined the conversation late, but I just want to ask a few questions. I want to believe the ComX is a B2B and a B2C platform. Am I right?
So I wouldn't want to look at ComX as a B2B platform or a B2C platform. I would like to look at it as a trading platform, as an OMS, right, an order matching system in this instance. So we need to be clear on definitions, because again, we're highly regulated and we don't want to pass out wrong information to people. So what this means is there's an order management system. The farmer can come and trade in the market, right? A retail investor can come and trade in the market. A physical market, there maybe a processor can come and also trade on the market if they want. But I won't exactly want to pin it as a B2B or B2C platform. I'd rather just go with an order management system, an OMS.
Alright, got it. Reason I asked this, I'm an agricultural engineer and I'm into installation of automated climate control poultry structures. I also do installation of irrigation setup as well. We have a youth group, alright, because we are more like an advocate of youth involvement in agriculture, because we believe agriculture is sustainable, alright, and a business can be built in agriculture. And we've had problems of farmers, right, having no access to market, alright. And why I asked that question is that most of all these farmers, we have some farmers that they are elderly, alright, going by their age bracket. Most of them are over 50 and they are still into this agribusiness. Most of them don't have access to mobile phone, right, with internet facility. So I want to know if there is some kind of USSD code that an ordinary farmer, sorry to say, would be able to dial that code, right, and be able to place a trade on your platform. That's one. Then another thing is, say for instance, if I'm investing in any commodity, for instance, maize, right, if I'm investing into maize and I place a buy order, right, and I want to hold, say for instance, maybe I'm buying at the price of X, right, and I want to sell at X plus, say, 5,000, right? If price gets to my own price, will the sell order be executed automatically, or I will have to come to the platform to come and place a sell order?
Great questions.
Okay, yeah, great questions. Nice one. First off, in terms of providing diverse options that suit the trading capacity of farmers who usually don't have smartphones, yes, we're currently in the works of structuring a USSD process whereby farmers can place trades on the exchange by themselves. But currently, right now, what we have on the system is farmers can always reach out to the exchange, and there's a designated desk that would execute that trade for them at the end of the day at the price to which they want. Right? So that process is, yes, we work a lot with these farmers. We know their constraints. We know what they are comfortable with, and so we try to create solutions that accommodate their current predicament. But at the same time, it is interesting to know that we're closely working with their children, right? Encouraging the take-up of technology, the take-up of smartphones, because at the end of the day, these farmers will probably be the next generation farmer, and we want to get them sophisticated. We want to see them trading futures. We want to see them being very financially literate, being tech savvy, and executing their business in a very wonderful manner. So yes, but currently a system to accommodate farmers without smartphones to trade, and we're also working on the USSD option. On your question concerning the platform, right? The exchange, you can only make an order, you can only make an order by coming to the platform and placing that order yourself. Do you understand? And this is to avoid any issues that might come with that, right? So if the market gets to the price which you want and you want to sell at that point in time, you have to come to the exchange and say, oh, I want to sell at this market price. If you've already placed a sell order and it's spot, it will automatically match for you, right? So those are just the ways to answer your questions.
Excellent response, Femi. I think I have Victor. Emmanuel, did you want to have a comeback before I move on to Victor? Like, when the answer is okay by you?
Yes, okay, but I will need to ask again. All right, at what price is ComX buying? Are you buying at the prevailing market price? All right, considering the fact that price in the southwest, I'm based in the southwest though, price in the southwest is not the same as that of the north. You understand? I want to know at what price are you buying? Do you have a fixed price that cuts across all states in Nigeria? And do you have your presence in southwest?
Yes, so we are not, again, we're just a marketplace, right? And in order to create a market for different types of market players, we have the DAO board. And what the DAO board refers to is the physical market board, right? So these are people that want to trade the physical and take the physical possession of their commodities. We have the spot board, and this spot board is what's traded usually on the spot board as securities, right? Or securitized commodities. So on the DAO board, you can have any farmer from any location place a trade at the price they are convenient or they are okay with, right? So if I'm a farmer in Kaduna and I want to sell bait, and given that Kaduna is a key producing region, its price would significantly be lower than that what is attainable in the southwest, right? And so the Kaduna farmer can say, I want to trade at 200,000 per metric ton. Someone in the southwest can say, okay, I want to match that trade, and they've matched it, and they can take physical delivery of that commodity. But at the same time, it's worthy to know that taking physical delivery of that commodities would incur logistic cost, right? Because you need to transport the commodity. So the exchange can help you sort that and provide the logistic service for you. But also at the same time, you can help sort that yourself if you want to. So again, just to reiterate, we don't, ComX doesn't buy, right? ComX is just a marketplace that gives every market player access to trade or interact with potential market or other market players.
Excellent, excellent. All right, thank you, Manuel, for those great questions. Victor, how are you doing, sir? Jump right in. Appreciate you. Oluwaseun, your hand is up? Did you have a comment?
Oh, I just wanted a question, but I want Victor to go first.
Yeah, okay. Victor.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
How are you doing, sir? Go for it.
So I just wanted to clarify something because I'm listening to the ComX thing and I want to know where will the products from the farmer be and where will the money from the buyer be as at the time they are both placing the trade?
Okay, so for a farmer to have his commodities listed on the exchange, his commodities has to be at an approved depository or an approved warehouse. What this means is that if I am a farmer, I want to trade on ComX, I have to go to a warehouse and say, oh, this is my maize.
Okay, so you have approved warehouses that issue warrants, right?
Yes, I issue electronic warehouse receipts to these farmers.
Okay.
And then, well, if where the money is the money is on the client portfolio. So if someone wants to trade, his portfolio has that amount to which he wants to trade, and then the farmer has the security in the warrant in his portfolio showing that he has this position, right? And essentially there's an exchange. So when the contract is, or when the trade is matched, the warrant is transferred to the seller.
Okay, so these warehouses now, you registered or licensed them, or you own them, or they're just partners to you? Are they
diligence before a warehouse is accepted as a designated depository on the exchange, right? So we do a lot of due diligence, and we strictly stick to the SEC guidelines as concerning that, because there's a SEC regulation concerning only warehouse operations and warehouse operators, right? So as AFEX, we are just the exchange, and then before a warehouse is approved by the exchange, there's a lot of due diligence, there's a lot of in-house works, cross-checking, understanding the operations. Okay, is this warehouse operating in line with the guideline? Is this warehouse in line with the guidelines as stipulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission? And what's the way forward?
Yeah, because most of the issues that we have, for example, right now I've got people owing me over $5 million in cocoa. They gave us warrants, which I got my South African people to finance. But when we got to the warehouse, it was fake warrants. The warrants were issued, but the products are not there. So,
yes. Trust me, we see your concern.
That really tested Nigeria's image, because people don't want to finance anything again. So they are looking for exchanges that can back up their warehouse warrants with bank guarantees. So are you guys in a position to do something like that?
So you could actually come and have conversations with us, because we are looking to provide collateral management services for people, but at a fee, right? But again, it's always, like I said, it's always safer to trade with an exchange, because you are sure that everything is in place. We are regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission. So it is what is
Victor. So let's ask the question now, and maybe like be a bit. Go ahead, Femi. We have to just focus here.
So I beg to differ to say that the regulation in Nigeria is non-existent. I can tell you.
Nobody's going to pay me the $5 million now. Nobody's.
We don't. So we don't know the details of that transaction. I want us to focus really on what we can debate. Really, we don't know the details of that $5 million. So let's
exactly.
just.
So that's why I'm raising the question. When you say, for example, you are accepting the warrant from a particular warehouse, yeah? What happens if, for example, somebody makes a trade, gives the money against that warrant that the warehouse, and you get to that warehouse to load, and there is no bag of maize or bag of cocoa or bag of cashew there?
So again, like I said before, right? We see your concerns, but on the exchange we have perfected our collateral management system. And before a warehouse is accepted as a approved depository on the exchange, we do a lot of due diligence, right? Before a contract is raised, before anything happens, there are a lot of due diligence, because we cannot have our name soiled. We are highly regulated by the Securities and Exchange Commission, and that has never been the case on our exchange, which is why we always encourage people to say, look, it is better to always come to a safe market that is highly regulated, that has all the formulas checked out, that leverages on technology and infrastructure in offering its services. I do sympathize with you on your current predicament, and I honestly sympathize with you. But going forward, I would advise that if you want to trade commodities, it's really advisable to come to our platform, because again, we're SEC-regulated. Before a warehouse is approved on the exchange, we go through a lot of due diligence. So, and there's a lot of collateral management going on underneath for every transaction that is matched on the exchange. So there can never be a case that, this warehouse doesn't have this commodity, and then the commodity has been traded on the exchange. Every commodity traded on the exchange is backed by an underlying commodity in a warehouse at all points in time.
Yeah, so I think that's I don't know, Victor, do you have a comeback on that, or should we move to Oluwaseun?
I was looking for an answer. I was looking for the collateral part that, okay, if this happens, this is what the exchange will do, but I'm not hearing that from that statement.
Let me talk to Femi, maybe via DM. because it's more like a transactional. Maybe talk to Femi Biedem if you don't mind. I would appreciate that.
So yes, my DMs are open, but like I said, we have heavy collateral management team. We have a heavy internal control team, and this has never been the case on our exchange because there are a lot of due diligence activities. So it cannot happen. I can give you that assurance that it cannot happen, right? And even if that should be the case, you would be settled because you have a match with the counterparty, and that counterparty has to provide that commodity for you. But I assure you that it has never been the case, and it can never be the case because we have a strong collateral management team and a strong internal control and compliance team.
Excellent. So, Oluwaseun, let me have you come in, sir, if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Just a couple of comments, questions. Femi, so you said you're regulated by the SEC. You mean the SEC of the U.S. or is there an SEC in Nigeria that I'm not aware of?
We have a SEC, right? We have a Securities and Exchange Commission in Nigeria, Oluwaseun.
Okay, I'm a newcomer. I'm sure. I'm putting it out there. So, okay, I guess as far as the warehouse is concerned, if I wanted to own a warehouse and participate in your exchange, is that a possibility?
That's a possibility. But like I said, there's a lot.
Could I trade and get on a warehouse?
Trade from the warehouse. So, what I want to understand is, you want to own the warehouse and you also want to trade on the exchange.
Right. Yeah, in other words, let's say I wanted to own a warehouse, but I also want to trade. Are there any conflicts that would prevent me from trading?
So, again, right, just pushing this in, there's the regulation as relating to approved warehouses or approved depository for Commodities Exchange issued by the Commission, right? So before you can be accepted as a warehouse operator or as a depository operator in Nigeria, we need to ensure that you check all the boxes as related to that, right? But also, that's a separate conversation. That's different, right? And at the same time, if you want to trade, that's a different conversation, and you could engage in commodities trading if you want. But that's a different conversation. And what we do at the end of the day is we provide all market players the same information at the same time, right? So this is what is happening on our exchange, based on activities on the exchange, to help every market player be aware to say, okay, yes, there's no price asymmetry anywhere. Everybody's getting the information. Everybody's making better informed decisions.
And then as far as the warehouses themselves, again, the reach of your warehouses, are they in just about every area all over the country of Nigeria that have ability to produce to our farm market? So in other words, farmers at the far corners of the country that want to participate, is there a warehouse within reasonable logistics so that their produce time to market won't be impacted by the time it's held in the warehouse and by the time it takes delivered by someone who's trading the assets?
Yeah, so I love your question. So we're currently in over 20 states in Nigeria. What we've done is we have big warehouses in economic hotspots, and then we have small commodities collection centers close to the farmers who stay away from this economic hotspot. So yes, we've built a model and we'll continue to expand on our model that is close to the farmers. So we want to be as close to the farmers as possible, right? We're always trying to be as close to them as possible, and we have different initiatives that we're diving into to enable that, or to keep that business model, because if you're not close to the farmer, there's a lot of implications as related to that. But yes, our business model supports us to be always close to the farmers, to have warehouses or storage centers established close to the farmer's farm, so that storage is a very easy thing.
And lastly, that farmer and Emmanuel brought up some very, very, I guess, heartfelt comment.
Yeah, he did.
I mean, I have some bias. I'm gonna be very transparent. I'm probably a little biased. I have a lot of support for Kwara State because that's where my family's from. So it's like, but the small guy who does not necessarily, either he's older or may not have maybe the families in diaspora, and then he is maybe managing a farm with whatever help he can get. Do you have a resource like where they'll say like some of the things that farmer brought up? Is there a way that you can like take some of those concerns, or maybe even Kalu can organize some kind of situation where some of the comments that Emmanuel brought up and also that farmer brought up can be taken into credit? Not like ComX has to have the responsibility to make sure. At least companies like ComX can get together and develop a standard so that these smaller guys can be heard and not be taken advantage of as well?
Sure. So the good thing we do is we play an advocacy role to the government, right, and to other stakeholders to let people understand, okay, before any policies are made, these are the data. So we always push for data-driven policies in the sense that we let people know what's the state of the farmer. On a yearly basis, we conduct a crop production survey to understand the state of the farmers, to understand what they need, what they are going through. And in that survey, the reports for that survey always gives recommendation to say, look, from a policy perspective, this is what we think should be done based on the data we have in-house, right? And again, we're largely impact-driven. And if you read our impact reports, you see that we work closely with these farmers. We look for ways to help improve their livelihood because aside just helping Africa feed itself, we want to help create shared prosperity for all market participants, right? So the farmer, the processor, the retail investor, the institutional investor, literally everybody, right? So yes, we will continue to play that advocacy role for the farmers in terms of pushing data to the government, pushing policy recommendation, observing the market on a periodic basis to know what's the issues or what's the way forward or what can be done to help every player in the value chain.
Do you have any capacity in the future for, let's say, if a farmer wants to interface with your platform using Bitcoin?
Interesting question.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. So, again, we are very futuristic and we're looking at how to always leverage on blockchain to improve transparency on our exchanges. We're looking at that. But I think that we're looking at that within the confines of the regulation in Nigeria, right? Because you don't want to go against your regulators at the end of the day. So yes, there's a lot of research being done concerning that. And in the near future, it can be a possibility if the regulation allows for it.
I guess my last comment is just, Kalu, just try to see if you can collect the comments of that farmer and also some of the comments of Emmanuel. And I guess there was another guy by farms that was here.
Yeah.
Please try to collect their concerns, and also the gentleman, Jay Khalid.
Yeah.
About the opportunities that exist for farmers who want to export to support the vacuum that is now created by places like Ukraine. Again, it's unfortunate for Ukraine, but it's time for Nigeria to rise up.
You're right. I mean, this is why we're doing this space, right? The whole idea is just to talk. And there are folks just listening in that never knew what a commodity exchange was, right? So now they know, and now their interest is, should we say, aroused, and they can then now go out and sort of like, hey, I heard this yesterday, what can we do? This is why we just hold these spaces, right? And everyone is just coming here with new information, sharing data. I mean, I was speaking to that farmer for a long while about stuff like this, right? I mean, there was a time he was trying to invest in storage silos for maize on a different topic apart from this. So there's lots happening and lots that can happen. AFEX is doing a hell of a job running this exchange, private sector run business, trying to create what should have been created already, and they just come and plant on top of it. They're doing a lot, and I applaud everyone in that space. We are just sitting in the office, these guys are out in the field, and I just applaud everyone that has spoken or wants to speak or wants to get invested in this. For us, I'm a finance guy. I want to get people to invest and to understand that this is a thing, right? You putting money in the bank is not going to beat inflation. This is a thing. Femi has spoken for close to 2 hours, highlighted lots of opportunities. So guys, Femi's out here. Follow him, send him a DM. Oluwaseun basically at the very beginning says he wants to invest. Talk to him.
Give me a follow, man. So
Yeah, you guys should just mesh and talk. That farmer is there. He's a practical guy. The other guy, BT Farms. These are practical folks. Jay Khalid in Lithuania. So, I mean, guys, just follow people, ask people questions, and just get in. Jay, go ahead.
I was interested in the aspect of the investment aspect, because down there's fund, there's resources for genuine agricultural investment out there. If there's any genuine one there, there's fund available, and I know how to get resources with my folks down there, and we can get things done. But it's just those organizations, but definitely there's opportunity, and where I am due to what's happening around the world, the war, and with the war going on here, because things are not really coming out from there anymore, because these are like the major supplier of
grains and all
goods, resources, and now, you know, and definitely there's opportunity for people to come in and feel like those void in those aspects. So if they are genuine people, I'm ready to work with them and we'll get things done.
Yeah, there's always power in working in a group. So cooperative, so you can do that natural due diligence. Always seek that out, right? Always seek that out.
Like I like this your you know, this your forum, because like every weekend, whenever I have the opportunity, I always listening. I was here the last time you called that guy from Landmark, you understand?
Paul
Wanibe,
like, yeah.
You know, like real estate, and I'm also interested in that aspect because like I'm born and brought up in Lagos, so I know like most of what is going on there, and I have things, you know, but like with people, you know, genuine people to go out and get things done and all this stuff. I'm always down and I'm always listening to you, and I've get a lot from your page. I've learned a lot, and I just want to say big thank you to you, Carlo. Keep doing what you're doing.
I appreciate you saying that, sir. I really do. Really appreciate you saying that. So, I mean, there's a guy here I would have really wanted to speak, you know, Limal. I know he's building this cooperative thing, like Ajo, but in the UK. So yeah, he's a speaker. So I mean, Lima, I don't know if you can hear me, but how would this work? I mean, is this something you guys are also looking at in terms of building out something collaborative savings around commodities, or is this part of what you're looking at? I mean, if you can just maybe give us a peek of what you guys are talking about or working on, that would help. Lima, go for it. Don't know if you can hear me though. I see he's a speaker here. Maybe he's delayed a bit.
Okay, maybe before you respond, I have a question from him.
Yeah, go for it.
And it's to Femi, because to ComX that I think he has responded to this before, that who determines the buying and selling prices, and that does ComX actually have control over the prices? I think these are some of the concerns that people have. So Femi, can you respond to that, please?
Right. So thank you very much for that question. Very amazing. So what we have, right? So every exchange has a pricing system to which prices would operate, right? So it's not exactly like ComX is controlling the prices or manipulating the market. It's a free market, right? But there are also pricing rules that have been approved by the Securities and Exchange Commission. Let me take an example to you. In recent times, we actually saw Niku go over grow by about 40 or 80% in a day on London Metal Exchange. And that was as a result of the fact that their pricing system actually failed, right? And as a result of that process, they had to halt that trade, right? Because as much as you want to create a market that will be a sustainable market for every market player, you don't want to create a volatile market. So ComX doesn't exactly say, okay, no, you can't. This is how pricing would be. There's a pricing guideline on the exchange as part of our rules, right? And this has been approved by the commission. And so if a market player wants to play in line with the pricing guidelines of the exchange, he's free to. His trade will always match what's attainable in the market. Because again, as we want to make sure that our market is very reflective of what's happening in the physical market, right? We don't want to price commodities arbitrary of what their real underlying values are in the market.
Excellent response,
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Yeah, Obi, I know if you're done, I wanted Limal to just maybe make a comment, and then we can start to wind it down. I think we've got about 5 minutes to go. Limal, can you speak now? Well, I think, yeah, go for it.
Hi, Carlo, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. So I was just wanted to get your take on what you've heard so far in terms of the agricultural space and ComX. I know you guys are working on, should we say, a collective savings type of scheme. Does this in any way key into what you guys are working on?
Yeah, so I've been listening and appreciate all the speakers. My name is Lamar Rendell. Thanks for having me on. Yeah, the ComX platform sounds pretty cool, actually, pretty innovative. With what we're building a fortress, ours is specific, as Caleb said, based around collective savings. We do have a commodities model, but ours is more physical commodities such as silver fundamentals that could support something like that. But I think with what ComX is doing, it's more as I think it was Femi said, is a OMS, right? Whereas it's slightly different in that case. But yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Excellent work.
And just is it possible to buy shares? Let's say I want to trade on the NGX. Can I buy shares and be a shareholder of either ComX or AFEX?
So the parent company is currently a private company, so we've not gone public yet.
What am I showing on you this today?
Let's just get that question a lot.
I don't like to let's go right to the top. Let's go.
We get that question a lot. We're still a startup, and so we're doing a lot of series runs to the market and all that. I mean, if you're looking to become a shareholder, you can always reach out to us. We can always have that conversation and everything like that before we go to the market. Yeah, I mean, there could be value for you at the end of the day, or there will be value for you. I'm speaking affirmatively, right? And then just to speak on what Lemal said, yes. So currently on the exchange, we're working towards including metals, precious metals into our portfolio. So maybe in the next 1 month or 2 months, players on the exchange may be able to trade gold or will be able to trade gold. So yes, I mean, we're looking to expand.
About lithium and nickel.
No way. No, that's London.
So we're still in the works for a lot of this, natural gas, energy, metal. So we're in a lot of everything. Like, we want to cover everything commodities at the end of the day. But I can tell you categorically that for gold, we've done a lot of preliminary works. We've had conversations with a lot of people, and the products will be listed eminently. And I mean, you could always plug into it and trade gold.
Lithium, nickel, and cobalt. You know why I'm asking?
Yeah, I do.
Tesla.
We'll get to there.
I mean, let me just say about ComX. I've known ComX a long time. I knew when they were starting and all the bottlenecks that they went through. I know when they started, right? And they've come a long way. And I will tell you, Salah was sharing. If you want to deal commodities in Nigeria, this is the guys to do it with. Not just, they're just, quote unquote, they're a monopoly. But look at what they're doing. They're coming on a space to talk to people, educate people on this space, educate farmers, educate investors, because they want to basically bring everyone into that big tent. When we're all in that tent, there's a market created, and then everyone can, of course, enjoy that market created. So like he says, gold, nickel, I did not know this. That would be fantastic when they get that done. Natural gas, fantastic when they get that done. That's more asset classes for Nigerians to invest and possibly beat inflation. Wonderful. Guys, we've been here for 2 hours. Believe it or not, it's time to start to say goodbye. Let me just say thank you so much to ComX, to Femi, and also for the gentleman that came last week. We were doing a ComX show and Twitter failed and we had to shut down, and we just had to bring them back again. And Femi has just been wonderful. So Femi, on behalf of ourselves, I want to thank ComX and you for coming and spending all this time with us. For everyone that has spoken today, Sean, Victor, Jal, that farmer, Bit Farms, everyone that has spoken as in the DM, I do appreciate all of you. We are here every Saturdays by 8 p.m. or we try to be, and we have to talk about complex, simple stuff, but it's all economics, money, personal finance, and how you can take those topics and then run and make yourself a better investor and a better, of course, person. So we try to keep it simple and honest. Obi is always here as well, co-hosting with me, doing a great job behind the scenes, sending out tweets. I just want to thank her for that. So Femi, you've got the floor to say your last suicide comments, and then I'll just shut down the room after that.
Okay. So yeah, thanks for having me. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for the feedback. We really appreciate it. Again, ComX is a sustainable platform to help all market players create shared prosperity at the end of the day. So we're looking at retail players, institutional players, farmers, fiscal market players. So please get logged on with us, get online, and just start trading. It's a show market. Start making your income, start making your money, and all the best. Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So
you're killing it, man. You're killing it, bro.
Thank you so much, sir. I appreciate you saying that. Thank you so much. So next week, right, I want to bring a guy to talk about how to set up a Bitcoin mining site in Nigeria. Very, very simple topic. I want to bring him in here, walk us through it. I mean, why am I doing this? Because Bitcoin could be passive income, right? He uses a generator, but I want to see if we can do it with solar, if my guys in the village can set up a Bitcoin mining farm somewhere in the village and make some money. So I want to bring that guy in here. Just no buzzwords, no Bitcoin language. Just give it to us how we can do it, what it's going to cost us, and how much we can make if we set up a local Bitcoin mining infrastructure. So that will be next week. I hope he can join us.
Interesting.
Interesting.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see if we can get him in here. So yeah. All right, guys. I had someone's. Yeah.
For Bitcoin, is his name Shagun as well?
Yes.
Okay, that's my guy. Okay, cool.
That's your guy? Yeah, I'm trying to drag him in here. Yeah, I'm trying to drag him in here. So to come talk to us about it. So yeah. He's what they call, they've been green pilling or red pilling or whatever, pilling me all this way. Orange pill. That's what they call it.
Down with him too. I'll be here next week for sure.
Definitely, yeah. Time to come. So I want him to come over and then just to talk to, not just on Bitcoin mining, also just on the whole economics of it. Let me give you a data point I saw yesterday, right? If I held a dollar bill in my hand, I would have made more money than if I held Bitcoin this year. That's crazy. But not just Bitcoin. If I bought US stocks, I would have made less money than if I just held a dollar bill in my hand. So I want to just talk to him about this inflation, digital gold thing, and also Bitcoin mining. So next week is digital currencies. And when we have digital currencies, they flood in here, and those guys are like, they are like up for it. So we'll see. It should be fun next week. Obi, I hope you'll be here.
One last question for Femi.
Yeah.
Regarding the precious metals, specifically lithium, cobalt, and nickel, will you have warehouses that can secure these assets as well, too? The same way you have the farmers who are farming golf courses.
So concerning that, we're still trying to find a perfect framework that would work for everybody and will secure the capital markets, the integrity of the capital market. So we don't have all the answers yet, but we're close to having all the answers, and we're working with industry experts, consultants, people that have been in the space for a while, right? But if the need be, we can always leverage with Commodities Exchange that have already set up this thing and have like a cross-listed contract, maybe not. But we're in the works of it, and I'll show you that it's going to be a good one pretty much soon. It's going to be out pretty much soon. And just to add, please, everyone, please follow ComX by AFEX. You get the latest news concerning commodities and everything that we're currently working in.
Yes, so please follow AFEX, follow ComX and all that. They are very, very good guys. I do recommend them. So please do that, guys. They've done a lot just to share the information that necessitates to follow as well. So I'll see you guys next week. Obi, you want to say bye and then we can shut down?
Yes, thank you very much to Femi for breaking it down for all of us this evening. In fact, I think I should be ashamed of myself. I've had the comments since 2019 or 20, and I've even had to one of your colleagues in the office has called me and I just told her, I don't understand your platform yet. I need somebody to break it down for me. And I told her she'd call me back another day, which, well, she didn't. And since then, I just moved on. So when I saw this with, when Carlos said he was bringing you guys, and I was like, oh, great, that's an opportunity for me to get to know about what ComX is about. Yes, and I think just hearing your voice out, everything you said this evening, yes, I'm definitely convinced. So
excellent.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Good. Yeah,
good. Please always find ways to secure back and save your investment, save your assets as much as possible. Don't let what is happening in the economy, globally or in the economy, prevent you from securing the bag. See you guys next week.
Super.
And
Good advice, Obi. Good advice.
Stay safe.
All right, guys. Those are good. Okay, guys, remember I have my book out. Let's talk about your money. Go get that book. It's available on Amazon and Roving Heights. Get that book. It's perfect. Lots of information. 299 pages, about 18 or more chapters, guys. Go grab it. There's an entire chapter on commodities, and ComX was able to buy about 10 copies of those books, and we gave those books out to students for free. So ComX paid for 10 copies of my book, and we give it out to 10 students, no cost to them, just a way to talk to them about commodities and also investing. So thank you, ComX, for doing that as well. All right, thank you so much, guys. I'll see you guys next week. Shutting down the space in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. All right, hold up. The tunnel machine. Yeah.